There comes a moment when you realize no one is coming to rewrite your story for you. Not your boss, not your friends, not anyone you are related to. If you keep waiting for someone to notice you, to fix you, to push you, you might look up one day and realize that the chance passed while you were waiting. Rebuilding yourself does not mean something is wrong with you as a human being. It means you are not satisfied with the version of you that has been shaped by fear, by bad habits, by low standards, by other people's expectations. You know there is a deeper, stronger, wiser you locked inside the life you are living. The first brick in rebuilding yourself is accepting that your life is yours. All of it. The good parts, the bad parts, the parts that make you proud, and the parts you pray nobody sees. As long as you keep your life in someone else's hands, you stay powerless to change it. It is easy to say you are stuck because of your parents, your childhood, your neighborhood, your job, your boss, the economy, or even your past mistakes. Some of those things are real and heavy. But if you make them the main reason for everything, you give them all the control over your future. There is a difference between admitting something was not your fault and deciding it is still your responsibility. Maybe it is not your fault that you grew up in a house with no support. Maybe it is not your fault that you never saw a healthy relationship. Maybe it is not your fault that you were never taught about money. But it is your responsibility to learn, to heal, and to do better now. Think about the areas where you keep saying that if they were to change, I could finally be happy. If my boss would pay me more. If my partner would support me. If my family would stop doubting me. Every time you say that, you hand them the keys to your peace. You are basically saying, my life is parked until you move. Owning your life feels heavy at first because you do not get to hide behind excuses anymore. But there is a freedom buried inside that weight. When you say, my life is on me, then your progress is on you, but so is your breakthrough. That means you are also in charge of every new door that opens. Start small. Pick one area of your life and say it out loud. This is my responsibility now. Maybe it is your health, your spending, your attitude at work, or how you speak to people at home. Stop waiting for somebody to apologize before you decide you deserve a better life. When you really own your life, you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I do about it from here? That shift right there is the beginning of every rebuild. Once you make that shift, you are ready for the next step, which is getting honest about where you actually are. You cannot fix what you will not face. A lot of people stay stuck, not because change is impossible, but because they keep sugarcoating the truth about their situation. They call a mess a phase. They call debt normal. They call toxic relationships complicated, and they never look it straight in the eye. Being honest with yourself is not about putting yourself down. It is about turning the lights on in a dark room so you stop bumping into the same furniture. You may not like what you see, but the moment you see it clearly, you can start to move things around. Take a quiet moment and do a real life audit. Be honest about your money, not the money you wish you had. Write down the debt, the bills, and the late fees. Be honest about your health, not the body you had years ago. Write down the junk you eat, the sleep you skip, the signals your body is already sending you. Do the same with your relationships. Who are the people you are really close to? And how do you actually treat each other? Is there respect both ways, or are you just used to each other? Is there trust, or are you always checking phones, reading between lines, waiting for drama to break out? Then look at your habits. What do you do with your time after work, on the weekends, in the quiet hours nobody sees? How many hours are disappearing into social media, shows, games, or gossip? What are you avoiding by keeping yourself that busy and distracted? This kind of honesty can hurt your feelings at first. You might feel embarrassed or even ashamed. Do not run from that feeling. That is the pain of waking up. That sting is a sign that your standards are rising, that the old story about your life is starting to feel too small. Once you drop the lies in half, truths about your situation, you can finally pick up real solutions. You can make a plan that matches the truth, not a fantasy. And when you see clearly where you are standing, you begin to understand how precious your time really is. Time is the one thing you never get back. You can lose money and earn it again. You can lose a job and find another. But the hours you spend drifting, scrolling, and waiting for the perfect moment are gone forever. Most people do not feel this until it is almost too late. Think about how many times you have said, I will start next Monday, or I will change when the new year comes, or I will do it when things calm down. Notice how life never really calms down. Something is always coming up, and if you are not careful, you will let years pass in the name of waiting for better timing. Look around at people older than you who carry a quiet sadness. They will not always say it out loud, but many of them are living with the weight of you still have time, but I do not. They had dreams. They had chances. They kept delaying. Now their knees hurt. Their energy is low. Responsibilities are stacked up, and the window for certain dreams has closed. This does not mean you are too late. It means every day you waste makes the climb steeper. Starting a business at 25 and starting at 50, 5 are both possible, but they are not the same. Getting healthy at 30 and getting healthy at 60 are both powerful, but your body will feel the difference. Time adds weight to everything. You do not have to panic, but you do have to get serious. Set a time limit on your delay. Tell yourself, I am not allowed to push this dream back another year. I might move slower than I hoped, but I am not moving this into the land of someday anymore. Someday is where dreams go to die. Watch how you talk about your age. Stop saying it is too late for me, or I am too old for that. As long as you are breathing, you are not too old to start, but you are always too old to waste another year. And if you are young, do not let that trick you into thinking you can keep putting life off. When you accept that time is not your friend, you stop waiting to feel ready and start acting with urgency. And to move with urgency day after day, you need more than hype. You need discipline. Motivation feels good, but it does not last. You watch a video, hear a speech, read a quote, and for about an hour, you are ready to change your whole life. Then the alarm rings the next morning, you are tired, and that spark is gone. If you depend on that feeling, you will rebuild your life in your head and stay the same in reality. Discipline is different. Discipline says, I made a decision when I was clear-headed, and I am going to honor that decision even when I am not excited. Discipline is setting the alarm, getting up when it rings, and doing what you promised yourself. Whether your mood likes it or not, look at the parts of your life you respect right now. Maybe you show up for work on time every day, even when you do not feel like it. Maybe you get your kids to school, tired or not. That is discipline. You already know how to do it. You just have not been giving that same energy to your own dreams. Start with small daily commitments. Decide that for the next 30 days you will walk for 20 minutes or read 10 pages or practice your skill for half an hour. Do not wait until you feel inspired. Put it on your schedule and treat it like an appointment with your future. There will be days when your mind starts offering excuses. You worked hard today. You deserve to rest. Missing one day will not hurt. That is when your rebuild is decided. Every time you honor your commitment over your excuse, you build a new identity, one brick at a time. Every time you give in, you reinforce the old one. Understand that discipline is a muscle. The first reps are ugly. You will be inconsistent. You will slip. You will miss days. Do not quit over that. Just like in the gym, you do not stop lifting forever because one workout was weak. You come back and try again, and over time, showing up becomes who you are. When you build discipline, your life stops being controlled by your feelings and starts being guided by your choices. And once your choices are solid, the next step is to protect them from everything and everyone that is wasting your time and energy. If you look closely at your days, you will notice something. Your life is not being stolen in big dramatic chunks. It is dripping away in tiny, quiet leaks. 10 minutes of scrolling here, 30 minutes of pointless arguing there, an hour of gossip. Another hour of shows you barely even enjoy. Rebuilding yourself requires courage to say, I cannot afford this anymore, not with my time. You may not have a lot of money or support or opportunities yet, but you do have 24 hours like everybody else. If you let your hours be eaten by distractions, you are giving away the only currency you cannot replace. Sit down and write out your average day. From the time you wake up to the time you fall asleep, where does your time really go? How much is going into your health, your growth, your family, your craft? How much is going into numbing yourself so you do not have to feel bored, lonely, or afraid? Now look at the people around you. Some folks love you, but they are not good for where you are going. Every time you try to change, they pull you back into old habits. They call you soft when you stop partying. They act offended when you start saying no. They tell you you are acting brand new, when really you are just trying to act brand better. Creating boundaries will make some people uncomfortable. That is all right. You are not rebuilding your life to keep everyone else cozy. Tell them with love, I care about you, but I am working on some things and I cannot hang out like I used to. Some will understand, some will not. You still have to protect your time. Do the same with technology. Turn off notifications that do not pay you, grow you, or bring you real joy. Set specific times to check your phone instead of letting it interrupt you every few minutes. Your focus is one of your most valuable tools. Do not let it be dragged away by every ping and buzz. When you cut out what is wasting your life, you create open space. That space can feel strange at first because you are not used to being that free and that present. Do not rush to fill it back up with noise. Use that space to think about who you truly want to become. You cannot rebuild yourself if you do not know what you are building. Most people say they want a better life, but if you ask them what that really looks like, they get blurry. They talk about more money, less stress, maybe a nice place to live, but they rarely describe the kind of person they are becoming on the way. Grab a notebook and write out a picture of your future self. Not the house, not the car, not the followers. Describe the you who wakes up in that life. How do you think when problems show up? How do you handle anger? How do you treat people who cannot do anything for you? How do you act when nobody is watching? Think about your health in the future. Is your future self dragging from appointment to appointment, or do you move with energy? Do you eat just anything, or do you treat your body like the vehicle carrying your purpose? Think about your finances. Is your future self drowning in debt, or do you manage your money with wisdom and discipline? Go deeper into your character. Are you honest even when it costs you? Are you dependable, or do people roll their eyes when you say you are going to do something? Are you kind, not just to strangers, but to the people at home who see you on your worst days? These are the details that matter more than any image you post online. Once you see that future version of you clearly, start asking, what would that person do today with my current situation? How would they use this evening? How would they talk to this person who is getting on my nerves? How would they handle this paycheck? Then start making small choices that line up with that answer. You do not have to fake anything. You are not pretending to be someone you are not. You are practicing being the person you are becoming. Every time you respond like your future self instead of your old self, you pull that future closer by one step. Consistency turns that practice into reality. Getting clear on who you want to become naturally leads you to the next question. What is the unique thing you bring to the world? That answer is inside your gift. Every person has something they do with a little extra grace. It might not be glamorous. It might not look big on social media. But when you do it, people are helped lifted or changed. That is your gift. Rebuilding yourself means finding that gift again and organizing your life around it. Maybe your gift is making people laugh and feel lighter in heavy moments. Maybe you are good with your hands, fixing, building, or creating things. Maybe you have a way of explaining complicated ideas so people finally understand. Maybe you are that person everyone runs to when they are in trouble because you listen and give real advice. Life has a way of burying your gift under survival. You get bills, kids, heartbreak, deadlines, and little by little, you stop doing the thing that once made you feel alive. You tell yourself you will get back to it when life settles down, but you never do, and a part of you feels quietly empty. Start paying attention to what people constantly come to you for. What do they say about you when they thank you? Do they say, "You always know what to say," or "You make everything look good," or "You are the only one I trust with this"? Listen closely. Your gift is usually hiding inside what feels natural to you. Do not confuse your job title with your gift. Your job might be a cashier, a driver, a clerk, an assistant, or a manager. Your gift might be organizing chaos, calming angry people, spotting hidden patterns, or leading others. The title can change. The gift travels with you wherever you go. Once you reconnect with your gift, start feeding it time and effort. Take classes, watch tutorials, read books, and practice while everyone else is scrolling. It does not have to make money right away. It just has to grow. A strong gift can open doors that your resume alone could never touch. Living through your gift might mean you outgrow old circles and old expectations. Not everyone around you will understand this new focus. Some will cheer, some will question, and some will quietly pull back. That is where the next part of your rebuild begins. When you decide to change, you break an unspoken agreement with the people who are used to the old you. They are used to the version of you who is always available, always down to hang out, always ready to complain, always doing what you have always done together. Your growth reminds them of their own choices, and not everybody likes that mirror. There will be Friday nights when your phone is quiet because you have stopped chasing the same old scenes. There will be mornings when you are up before the sun working on yourself while the people you used to roll with are still sleeping. You will feel the distance. And if you are not prepared, you might run back to old habits just to feel less alone. Understand that loneliness in the rebuild is a season, not a sentence. You are not meant to walk your whole life alone, but there are stretches of the journey where it is just you and your decision. You need those stretches. That is where your character gets built without a cheering section. Use that quiet season to get to know yourself again. Learn what you actually enjoy, not just what your group enjoyed. Learn how to sit in silence without always needing noise. Learn how to take yourself somewhere nice without feeling awkward. The more comfortable you become in your own company, the less likely you are to tolerate bad company. Do not mistake being surrounded for being supported. Some of the loudest crowds around you might be the ones most invested in you staying exactly where you are. Notice who is clapping when you are entertaining them versus who is clapping when you are improving yourself. When the loneliness feels heavy, remind yourself why you started. Picture the life you are building, the peace you are chasing, the example you are setting for the people who are watching you silently to see if change is real. Many of them are hoping you do not give up, because if you can change, maybe they can too. Once you can handle being alone without falling apart, you are ready for the next piece of the rebuild, which is choosing a better circle on purpose. Your environment is louder than your intentions. You can be serious about changing, but if you spend most of your time with people who have no interest in growth, sooner or later you will bend to the room. Upgrading your circle is not about acting better than anyone. It is about protecting the future you are fighting for. Start by noticing how you feel after spending time with different people. Some leave you drained, anxious, or doubtful. Others leave you thinking bigger, feeling calmer, or wanting to do better. That feeling is data. Stop ignoring it. Your body knows when your spirit is shrinking. Pay attention to the conversations you are part of. If every discussion is about other people's business, old drama, or how nothing ever changes, that energy is shaping your mindset. If the people you are around laugh at learning, mock hard work, or brag about barely doing the minimum, you are in dangerous company for your goals. Upgrading your circle does not always mean cutting everyone off overnight. Sometimes it means adjusting how much access they have to you. You might still love them, but you no longer give them all your time and attention. You choose when and how you engage instead of always being pulled into their schedule and their problems. At the same time, you have to actively seek out people who stretch you. Go where they are. That might mean joining a class, a group, a community, or even connecting online with people who share your drive. You will feel out of place at first. Stay anyway. Feeling a little behind in a room full of doors is better than feeling comfortable in a room going nowhere. Do not just look for successful people. Look for people whose character you respect. Watch how they treat waiters, how they talk about their family, and how they handle stress. You do not just want their results. You want their habits, their values, their way of moving through life. As your circle upgrades, your standards rise without you even trying. Suddenly, sleeping all day, complaining all night, and blaming everyone else does not feel normal anymore. You are surrounded by people who are taking small steps every day, and that rhythm pushes you to respect even the smallest of your own steps. Most people underestimate what they can do in a year and overestimate what they can do in a week. They want a dramatic transformation overnight and then quit when they do not see it. Real rebuilding lives in the small, quiet decisions you make daily, not in one big moment. Think about how you got to where you are right now. It was not one meal that changed your body. It was years of eating a certain way. It was not one purchase that put you in debt. It was the pattern of spending more than you brought in. It was not one argument that broke the trust. It was repeated words and actions over time. Those same laws work for building a better life. Drinking more water each day seems small until it becomes a habit and your energy shifts. Reading or learning a little each day seems small until a year later you realize you understand your craft at a whole new level. Saving a small amount each paycheck seems small until you suddenly have a cushion for emergencies. You will be tempted to say, this is too little, it will never matter. That is the voice that has been keeping you stuck. Answer it with, this is a brick. I might not see the whole building yet, but a brick plus a brick eventually becomes a wall. Your job is to lay today's brick. Track your small wins. Write down every day you chose water over soda, a walk over the couch, a book over nonsense. Celebrate that you kept a promise to yourself. That list will remind you that you are not the same person you were last month. Even if the outside results are still catching up, understand that consistency beats intensity. Going to the gym 7 days in a row and quitting for 3 months does not help you. Working for 2 days straight and then burning out does not help you. 30 minutes a day, stacked over time, will quietly outperform your old pattern of doing a lot for a short burst and then nothing. When you learn to respect small steps, you stop trying to bargain your way out of them. And that leads straight into the next part of your rebuild, where you stop negotiating with the excuses that keep trying to talk you back into your old life. Inside your mind lives a very convincing lawyer whose only job is to defend your comfort zone. Every time you try to change, that voice starts building a case. You are tired. You had a long day. You will start fresh next week. You deserve a break. Nobody else in your family did this anyway. That voice sounds kind, but it is slowly killing your progress. You need to recognize your excuses like you recognize familiar faces. Learn their favorite phrases. They might say just this once, or I will make up for it later, or what is the point? Nothing ever works out for me. The moment you hear those lines, understand that you are in negotiation with your old self. Stop acting like your excuses are giving you options. They are only offering you the same result you have always had. When you are rebuilding, you have to treat your non-negotiables like you treat showing up for work. You do not wake up and ask yourself if you feel like going. You go because that is what must be done. One practical way to beat excuses is to decide on your actions the night before. Pick your clothes, plan your meal, set your alarm, and lay out your book or your notebook. That way, when your feelings wake up lazy, the plan is already in place. You are not trying to decide with a tired brain. Another way is to shrink the task instead of canceling it. If your mind is screaming that you cannot do an hour, tell yourself, fine, but we are doing 10 minutes. 10 minutes of effort keep your habit alive. 10 minutes keeps the promise to yourself. Once you start, you will often end up going longer anyway. Do not expect your excuses to disappear. They will be with you on day 1 and on day 100. The difference is, over time, they get quieter as you stop rewarding them. Every time you obey an excuse, it gets stronger. Every time you move anyway, your discipline gets stronger. When you stop making deals with your excuses, you free up energy that was being spent on avoiding what truly needs your attention. Often, what needs that attention most is not your schedule or your goals, but the hurt you have been running from inside. A lot of what looks like laziness is really pain in disguise. You are not just tired. You are drained from carrying years of hurt, disappointment, betrayal, or failure that you never processed. Instead of facing it, you drown it in entertainment, business, or chasing validation from people who cannot heal you. Rebuilding yourself requires more than new habits. It requires healing old wounds. Otherwise, you will keep building new things on a cracked foundation. Your anger, your trust issues, your fear of success, your fear of failure, your need to please everybody, they all came from somewhere. Start by admitting to yourself that something hurt you more than you let on. It might be childhood neglect, a parent who left, a relationship where you were lied to or cheated on, a friend who betrayed you, or a door that slammed shut when you had given it everything. You told yourself to just toughen up and move on, but part of you stayed stuck there. Permit yourself to seek help. Therapy is not a weakness. Counseling is not a failure. Talking to someone wise, whether a professional, a mentor, or a trusted elder, is a sign that you are serious about your rebuild. You are not crazy for needing support. You are human. If formal help is not available right now, start where you are. Journal about what happened and how it made you feel. Be honest on that page like you have not been with anyone. Pray, meditate, or sit quietly and let the memories come without trying to push them away. You cannot heal what you pretend did not happen. Healing does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like finally forgiving yourself for the choices you made when you did not know better. Sometimes it looks like setting boundaries with people who keep reopening the same wound. Sometimes it looks like accepting that you may never get the apology you deserve and deciding to move forward anyway. As you heal, your triggers lose some of their power. You stop overreacting to small things because you are not carrying a lifetime of unspoken hurt on your back. With that weight slowly lifting, you can finally design a schedule and a lifestyle that supports your growth instead of simply distracting you from your pain. You cannot say you want to transform life and keep living on a freestyle schedule. Your calendar tells the truth about what you value. If there is no time blocked off for your health, your learning, your craft, or your healing, then your dream is just a wish you say out loud sometimes. Start by writing down everything you're responsible for right now. Work, kids, chores, family commitments, appointments. Be honest about how long those things really take. Many people feel like they have no time, but actually they just have no structure. Their day leaks away through 100 unplanned moments. Once you see your real responsibilities, look for the open spaces, even if they are small. You might find 30 minutes early in the morning, 30 minutes on your lunch break, and an hour at night once the house is quiet. Those blocks of time are more powerful than you realize if you use them with intention. Decide in advance what each block is for. Maybe mornings are for movement, lunchtime is for learning, and nights are for creating or planning. Write it down. Set reminders if you have to. Treat these blocks like you would treat a meeting with someone important. In this case, that important person is your future self. Expect resistance at first. Your old routines will try to pull you back. People will call or text during your focused time. You will suddenly feel the urge to clean things that have been dirty for weeks. That is not a sign that your schedule is wrong. That is a sign that you are breaking patterns. Remember that a schedule is a tool, not a prison. If an emergency shows up, adjust, do what you must, and then return to your plan as soon as you can. Do not throw the whole schedule away because one day went sideways. Life will happen. Your job is to keep coming back to your structure instead of slipping back into chaos. As your schedule starts matching your dreams more closely, your days gain a rhythm. You stop feeling like life is just happening to you and start feeling like you are directing your time on purpose. In that rhythm, you will still stumble, you will still mess up. And that is where your relationship with failure has to change. Failure is not a sign that you are doomed. It is a sign that you tried something. The only people who never fail are the ones who never step out of what is safe and familiar. If you decide to rebuild your life, you are going to fail at some things. You are going to misjudge, overreach, underprepare, or simply run into situations you did not see coming. The problem is not failure itself. The problem is the story you tell yourself after you fail. If you say, "See, I knew I was not good enough," or "this always happens to me," or "I will never try that again," you turn one event into a permanent identity. You let a chapter claim your whole book. Start treating failure like feedback. Ask better questions after something goes wrong. Instead of "why me?" ask, "What did this teach me? What did I miss? Where did I ignore a warning sign? What skill do I need to build? What can I do differently next time?" The quality of your questions shapes the quality of your comeback. Permit yourself to grieve losses. Pretending you are fine when you are not does not help you learn. Be honest that it hurt, that you were embarrassed, that your feelings were crushed. Then decide how long you will sit in that emotion before you rise and use the lesson. Study people you respect and notice how many failures sit behind their success. You will rarely meet anyone doing something meaningful who has not been rejected, laughed at, underpaid, overlooked, or knocked down. The difference is they did not stop there. They let those experiences sharpen them, not shrink them. Watch out for the fear of failure disguised as perfectionism. If you are always waiting for the perfect conditions, the perfect plan, the perfect version of yourself before you start, you are really just protecting yourself from the risk of falling short. Rebuilding requires that you step forward even while you are still unsure. As you learn to let failure teach you, instead of define you, your inner voice starts to matter even more. Because what you say to yourself after a mistake can either crush your progress or power your growth. You hear your own voice more than any other in your life. If that voice is constantly telling you that you are stupid, lazy, ugly, or doomed, you are living with an enemy in your own head. You cannot rebuild a strong life while mentally beating yourself down every day. Start listening to how you talk about yourself, even in jokes. When you say things like, "I am always late," "I can never remember anything," "I am so dumb," "I mess everything up," your mind treats those as instructions. Over time, you begin to act out the script you have been rehearsing. This is not about lying to yourself or pretending everything is fine. It is about choosing a language that builds you instead of breaking you. Instead of saying, "I am terrible with money," say, "I was not taught about money, but I am learning now." Instead, "I can never stick to anything, but I am becoming more consistent one day at a time." Create a list of truths you want to believe about yourself, even if they do not feel real yet. Phrases like, "I am capable of change," "I am worthy of respect," "I can learn new skills," "I handle problems with wisdom." Read them out loud every day. It will feel awkward at first. Keep going. You are rewiring how you see yourself. Pay attention to how you speak to yourself when you mess up. Do you curse yourself out in your head? Or do you say, "That was a bad choice, but I am still growing"? Do you drag up every mistake you ever made? Or do you focus on the lesson in this moment? Your rebuild needs a coach inside, not a bully. Also, watch how you talk about your future. Saying things like, "With my luck, nothing works out," or "People like me do not get those breaks," closes doors before you even knock. Your words shape your expectation, and your expectation shapes your effort. If you expect failure, you do not fight as hard. As your self-talk becomes more respectful and more aligned with your goals, your faith in yourself begins to grow. And when you combine that growing faith in yourself with faith in something greater than you, your rebuild gains a deeper strength. Believing that there is a purpose for your life gives you strength when everything else is shaky. Faith reminds you that you are not just here to pay bills and then disappear. You are here to grow, to serve, to love, to learn, and to leave the world a little better than you found it. But faith alone without action leaves you stuck. You cannot sit on the couch, hoping, wishing, and praying for a new life while ignoring the steps you already know you need to take. Real faith says, I trust that there's a path for me, and I am willing to walk it, even when I cannot see the whole road. Use your